I am your brother in Christ, and welcome to a very unique one that I'm doing. This will be broken up into many parts. We will be taking a look at the events of September 11th as they unfolded on the day of. So as those events happen, I'll be mentioning them. We'll be also participating. I hope it just didn't start. Okay, let me start over. I am your brother in Christ, and welcome back. I don't know, there's a slight delay in the stream starting, at least the timer up there for the stream to start. So we will be looking at different videos from the day of. We'll also be looking at the events that were happening as it unfolded. It's been 19 years since this event happened. I'll be talking about my experiences on the day of where I was. I mean, this left quite a bit of an impression on a young man of the day. So we will be focusing on that. But before we begin, let's go ahead and hit the intro. And I do apologize. Hey, welcome. Let me just make sure all my settings work. Okay, looks good. Everyone can hear me? Sounds good. Fantastic. Howdy. Welcome. This is a very solemn one. Several years of war between the U.S. and the Middle East. Yes, I'll be touching on that as well. Talking about why that was not the best decision. It was a decision. There were reasons, but why it wasn't effective. So, those of you that aren't familiar, I mean, there are young adults now that are growing up that didn't live through this. I mean, it's 19 years ago today. So yes, there very likely could be a 18-year-old that didn't know anything about it. There also could be 20-year-olds that just were too young to remember it. Yeah, it was 9/11, something that leaves an impression on you. I was only 11 at the time, but yeah, I can remember exactly where I was, what we were doing, what we were planning that day, because it impacted our family so hard. And we were just bystanders. We weren't personally there even. So we'll start off. Let's see here. Keep a track of the time because we have certain events that occur. In a couple of minutes, we have our first event. I'll be going through the events and as they unfolded the day of during this live stream. So what I was doing at the time, I was getting ready. We were going to go to the county fair. We were listening to the radio. We're sitting down, having a good time, eating breakfast, getting ready to go. I mean, it's still pretty early for me to be live streaming. I normally don't stream until much, much later in the day. But this was a special event, and I wanted to hit this one off. For those of you that don't know, there will be a point in this live stream that I'll be quiet for about 2 minutes. That's a moment of silence. Normally, moments of silence last for 1 minute, but this one is special. So we give 1 minute to each tower that fell. So that will happen at 8:46. So at least on my clock, and I'm EST. So the first event happens in 2 minutes, but until then, I will entertain you with how we found it out. He says I was in the TV room. Still living with my parents. My dad came home from work and told me what had happened. Yeah, it's just I saw it unfold as it was going. We were watching CNN at the time. It was a Tuesday. My dad took off work so we could go to the fair together. We were all excited. We were getting ready to go. We were going to be taking off shortly to go do it. I was doing 4-H at the time. So I was showing rabbits, doing all that stuff. And we were listening to one of the local radio stations. And that's when the first plane hit. And we got the news of it. So then we flipped CNN on back when we still were watching it because we still thought it was a creditable. But in this case, I will be using clips from CNN because not the audio, but at least the video itself. For those of you that may not know what happened, just give you a real quick rundown. Hijackers hijacked 2 planes and flew them into the World Trade Center, killing thousands of Americans in the process, which was so far from our minds at that point, because originally you had hijackers. Planes would get hijacked occasionally. I mean, airport security wasn't the best. You kind of just went on there. If you got hijacked, what happens, and this is what everyone expected to happen, was the hijackers would demand to go to a certain airport. The plane would then take them to that airport, drop them off, refuel, take back off, and be back on course. At worst for the passengers, a couple-hour delay. Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. Inconvenience, yes, but no reason to try to take the plane back from the hijackers. I mean, what's the point of risking your life for a couple hours? I mean, no one's going to get hurt. Yeah, someone's going to have to pay for the fuel. The airline would have to pay for it. But that was it. That was it. As far as the normal passenger goes, that was all. That was the concern. So it wasn't a big deal. And that's why none of the passengers tried to retake the plane. So if you guys know, go ahead and leave your experiences, at least what you were doing when this whole thing came to be. So it sounds like you were not there watching it unfold. It was you waited until your dad came back and then he told you. So now, granted, I don't know what time zone you're in, so maybe you did watch it unfold. I don't know. So, but we'll be looking at the ideology that was behind this and why our reactions did not work. But I'm actually a couple minutes late on this, but at 8:46. No, we're fine on that one. At 8:37 a.m. Boston Air Traffic Control personnel alerts the U.S. Air Force Northeast Air Defense Sector, which deploys jets to identify and follow Flight 11. Now, Flight 11 had turned off their, at this point at night, during 9/11 on that date, the Flight 11 had already been hijacked. The hijackers has already turned off the transponder, so the people don't know where the plane is. Again, that's not anything out of the ordinary. I mean, hijackers used to do it all the time. So, was not a big deal. I think that's what I'd emphasize most is how this changed our society and how it changed our view on flying, how it changed our view on hijacking. So I do have a clip to show you, and since we have, let me make sure we have enough time before the next event on that day. We do not. We got a few more minutes, so let's go ahead and flip over. We're going to watch a video from a YouTuber. So this is on fair use because we are reviewing it. Do a big screen. There we go. Look at that, all fancy and nice. Oh, this is not fancy and nice on this day. Then it's a little on the sadder side. So this is from Betty Wire YouTube's channel. This is on top of the Trade Center 2001. So this is 4 days before the attack. So this is, he's driving up. I have the sound muted. So it looks like he's taking a taxi, going up to the World Trade Center, go to the top of the World Trade Center. So those are the two towers right there. Oh, that was not a plane. Those were birds. Although nowadays, gave me a bit of a start. I've watched all these videos I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. They were, some of them are quite graphic, some are quite traumatic for some of those that have lived through it. Just be aware, I guess. I don't normally do that sort of warning, but I am this time. So they're going in, they're riding up the elevator. I mean, it's casual, right? Anyone could do this. Just casual day. People are going there to work. Going up 100. Floor 107. Get out, take a look around. See, it looks beautiful. It's fantastic. Again, this is 4 days before the attack. So a lot of people in this video, if they worked there, would have very likely have died. Definitely if they're on the 100th and 7th floor. So you see the second one there. So needless to say, they don't stand there today. But it is still breathtaking to take a look at this and see what was once. You see the Statue of Liberty out there. See how beautiful it is. You can see a nice clear day. Fantastic, right? So pause there for a second. Since we have our next event that was going on, we have United Airlines Flight 93, carrying 33 passengers, 7 crew members, and 4 hijackers, take off from Network Liberty International Airport after a delayed departure. The plane is on a round trip to San Francisco. So they were on their way to San Francisco. They were delayed slightly. In fact, I think that's if they would have tried to time it correctly. I think they were trying to hit the towers at the same time. There is a delay, and we will definitely be seeing that as we continue through the events. So we've got a couple more minutes. We'll go ahead and go back over, and I'll take a couple of your comments as we are wrapping up this video that he's showing us here. Again, I've not seen all the content that's on that channel, but this was very, very helpful. Yeah, the time. Okay, so yes, this is a long time ago. This is 01, okay? I was 11 years old. This is 19 years ago. The video is not the best quality. It's not like you can get better quality of these sort of shots. I mean, he's on the top of the tower. Which is fantastic. Okay, let's close that out. So yes, that's happened, and we've got about a minute before we have the minute of silence, which is when the first plane hit. No one expected it. No one was even looking at the towers when it happened. There were people standing in the street, and we'll talk about their first reactions after we come back from the 2 minutes of silence. So we've got a bit of time yet. So at 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 hits the North Tower of the World Trade Center between floors 93, and 99. So where that video was taken was above it. And let's have that moment of silence, please. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for the moment of silence. That was 2 minutes of silence for those who perished on 9/11. So if we go back to what I was saying, the events that were happening on that day, at 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 hits the North Tower of the World Trade Center between floors 93 and 99. Immediately following the plane's impact, emergency dispatch directed EMS and New York PD to the scene. The Port Authority police dispatch was also mobilized. Oof. Sorry about that. Annoying flies. They've been bad this year. So, okay. So we've got that happening. There's no video of that for me to share with you guys just because that is when that happened. No one was looking. No one was expecting that to happen. It's something that never happened before. And it was something so unexpected that the reactions that we were all experiencing was disbelief on that. The next event is happening now, which President George W. Bush is informed that a plane has hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center while he was visiting an elementary school in Florida. So yeah, he was visiting elementary school. He was reading to the kids. Someone came in and said, "Hey, the plane just hit the North Tower." And we weren't expecting this. We didn't know that this was going to happen. We didn't know. No one had even had any sort of inkling. There were some possible leads beforehand. I don't know how many of those are actually credited to actually being beforehand or after. Don't know. Yeah, it was shocking to hear. Everyone thought it might have just been a mistake. Someone accidentally. It was an accident that happened. They had no clue, and no one thought at this point that it was a terrorist attack. There had been terrorist attacks on the World Trade Centers before, because the World Trade Centers were iconically American, and due to that, they were of high value. So, sorry, this is really still intense for me. So that was what I was doing on the day. We were preparing to go down to the fair, and we stopped everything and just watched this unfold in the morning. But what's the ideology behind this? Why did this happen? Why was this something that was thought of as a good idea by these people who were hijacking it? We know of Osama bin Laden. We know that it was a terrorist attack, but what was the key reasons behind that? The key reasons goes back to the Quran. And as we're talking about this, of course, we have a couple of Muslims who are sitting in Congress right now. Most notably, Omar, who explains 9/11 as being something that some bad people did some time ago. But we need to move past it. My reaction, no. No, what has caused this, what the root cause of this, is still out there. And we are still seeing terrorist attacks worldwide. We are still seeing constant barrage from them, from the same ideology that caused this attack. So we see this in the Quran. It really is rooted deep within the Quran itself. So some people did something. Yeah, some people did something. Sounds like, someone rear-ended you. Well, some people did something this morning to my car as I was driving in. It's a normal day. No, this is something that left scars that are still being felt in the American people today. We still have people who have lost brothers, sisters, family members, loved ones in this event. And the ideology that was behind this, the actual reason, the cause behind all of this, was never addressed. At least not until recently, where we've actually started getting to the root through apologetics. Now, are you sure that's why? Yes. And I'll explain more in depth later. But if we go to the Quran, specifically Quran 3:151, we shall cast terror into the hearts of those who do not disbelieve, which is all non-Muslims that they're referring to. So they will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve. So Christian, Jews, atheists, everyone. They want to use terror. They want to use fear as their tool. We turn again to Quran 2:191. And kill them, referring to non-Muslims, wherever you find them. Kill them. Such is the recourse of the consequence of the disbeliever. again, referring to non-Muslims. So that is our just reward for not believing in Allah or in Muhammad. It is to be killed. And in this case, they didn't. Check the timeline again. We've got a few minutes yet. I think we can probably slip in one more Quranic reference. So this is Quran 2:216. Fighting has been enjoined upon you while it is hateful to you. But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. And perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not. So in this Quranic reference, it's literally saying fighting, even if you don't enjoy fighting, it's good for you. So go and fight. Go and do this. And yet we have Congress members who say that this man who dictated the Quran is the most holy man ever, that all should aspire to be like him, and that Sharia law would be good within the United States. We got time for one more. I'm sorry. This is a heavy topic. I don't normally go this heavy with these topics, but wow, this one is nasty. So this is from Sahih al-Bukhari 452. The Apostle of Allah said, I have been sent with the shortest expressions, bearing the widest meanings. Oh my gosh. Man, my brain's just not working. This must be way too early for me. Bearing the widest meanings, and I have been made victorious with terror. Again, this is Muhammad speaking. This is from Sahih al-Bukhari. This is Sahih, so it's very, very, very reliable. And he is stating very clearly that he has been made victorious through terror. And why are we surprised when terrorists come from Muslim beliefs? Could it be because their founder was a Muslim? I mean, a terrorist? Plain and simple? Okay, I think I might have missed my next event there when I was talking. So, yes, at 8:59 a.m. The North and South Towers were ordered. Evacuations of the North and South Towers were ordered. The entire World Trade Center complex, made up of several buildings, because it wasn't just the two towers, it was multiple buildings. They started evacuating. And this is less than 15 minutes after the original impact. Okay, we're about ready to get to where the second plane hits. And I've got video to go with that. Again, that is quite emotionally driven, but we will review that shortly. So that is at 3 minutes. So going back to the Quran, which is the inspiration for this attack, plain and simple. All the terrorists said that this is why. Everyone agreed upon this. And again, still at this time, the United States did not think that this was a terrorist attack. It wasn't until the second plane hit that we realized that this might have been done on purpose, not just an accident, a one-time fluke. No, was not. So going back to the Quran, we see in Quran 9, verse 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and his messenger have made unlawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scriptures. Fight until they give you the jizya willingly while they are humbled. Or in some translations, they are submitted. So they submit to the will of you who are now controlling. Basically, it's jizya is a slave tax that's put on you, and you're a second-class citizen. You don't get the rights. Whatever Muslims want, they get. So as we enter into this, 9:03 a.m., flight 175 crashes into the South Tower of the World Trade Center, beginning at floors 77 and 85, between those two floors. So we do have video. Many are trapped. Again, the towers were about the same size. So this one hit much, much lower than the other one did, trapping a lot more in the top. We were still not done with the evacuation. Again, this is 4 minutes after the evacuation was announced. This happened. So, oh my goodness. So many are trapped above the impact zone after the crash destroyed 2 of the building's 3 emergency stairwells and severed a majority of the elevator's cables. So let's go ahead and flip over to another YouTube video. This is 18 views of plane impact in South Tower, 9/11 World Trade Center. This is from Let Us Joke. So I don't think he was joking about this part, but go and show you, and this is probably the most extensive one that I found on there. So you can see it's taken from multiple different sources already put together. Just how fast, how quick, how sudden. From way out on the bay, seeing the impact. There you go again. There's one that's really, really, really just takes my breath away. There you go, right down. It dives right into it. Levels out and plows into him. The cold-hearted mentality you need to be able to pull this off, to be willing to kill so many for a God who's fickle. Jeez. Now this is it. This is right here. Take a second. I'm going to take a look at that one again. Just no expect. Everyone's there just trying to figure out how to save the people that are in the other tower, and boom. Just get out of there. again. So this is 18 different vantage points. And yet, they want us to forget this. They really do. They want us to wipe this under the table as if this never happened. I'll probably be considered hate speech for bringing this up, for reminding those. Oh, question about the translation. Sahih International is the one I use most of the time. If these people were paying attention to this, again, we weren't expecting this. Hijacking was something that was not a big deal. And here it comes in right there, levels out, and boom. How the Twin Towers were really designed in order to be built fast led to a very quick destruction. Definitely when the four sides, the corners, were destroyed. Yeah, this is just the one I use most of the time. Now, again, I'll use cross-reference as well. So I'll look at multiple different versions, just like I do with the Bible, to ferret out the truth. So, oof. That one had a good view on it. Gosh, just see that one again. So you follow the plane all the way in. So when all of those 33 passengers, 7 terrorists, and 7 crew members and 4 terrorists died that day. Slam. Seven. One more. One more. It feels like I'm doing a marathon. There's like a helicopter there. Oh. Okay. Turn that off. So that is what was going on then. We're at, got a few more. So we've got a few more minutes here for our next event. Whew. So, I don't think I'll stream the entire time this event was happening live. I just wanted to give you guys a taste. Yes, terrible day. Yes. Oh, shocking. Welcome to the world. There are people out there that want to kill you, that want your death and want your misfortune. Now, while we're in this brief time of both of the towers burning, during this time, we were seeing people wave from the towers themselves, asking for help, trying to get some sort of salvation. People were jumping from the towers so they didn't burn to death. It's just a terrible time. I know afterwards they were kids whose parents were in the Twin Towers. Who said they would have given their parents anything. In fact, they made backpacks with like makeshift parachutes for them to use. These scars are still left. And even if Omar wants us to forget, let's not. Now, after this, of course, this led to the war with the Middle East. This led to the Iraq War. The question of why. I think Bush was kind of pushed into it one way or the other. He had to do something. America was ticked. We were really unhappy. We needed to do something. We had to do something. We had to make some sort of action. And if he would not have done anything, he would have been labeled a poor president. So he had to do something. We needed blood. We had been hit, and we wanted to hit back. So we have our next event. Renee A. May, a flight attendant on Flight 77, because there were still more flights coming in to do these attacks, calls her mom from the plane and informs her that they've been hijacked. May's mother lets them know that there have been plane attacks from hijackers. So building up, all this stuff. Terrible, terrible day. So why did that not work? I mean, we went over there, we toppled a few tyrannical governments. We took down some dictators. We crushed them. I mean, we just wiped them out. I mean, there was some resistance, but in the end, it really, as compared to like World War I, World War II, it wasn't organized. There was a lot of, again, guerrilla warfare that was going on, which really bogged us down the most out of everything. But why didn't that work? Does anyone want to give a guess why that wouldn't have worked? Why that was ineffective, our invasion? To stop these attacks that are still going on to this day throughout the world. Don't see anyone mentioning it, but yes, because we were fighting an ideology like we were fighting a nation. We went to war against a nation, not an ideology, but yet the ideology was what our enemy really was. The ideology of Islam really is plain and simple. It's the religion of Islam, not the members, not the people, the concepts, their teachings, what they are saying. As I was going through a reading, Quran, to find it again. Quran 9:29 speaks very plainly of what they are to do, why this was a thing. Fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and his messenger have made unlawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scriptures, i.e. Jews and Christians. Fight until they give the jizya. So only Jews and Christians get this option. We can become second-class citizens, basically slaves to Muslims, and also pay them an amount just to continue living. If you talk to any Christian in a Muslim nation, there are quite a few of those who implement this. They add it on as an additional tax just to live free and, well, relatively unmolested. So, but why would they be willing to sacrifice their lives for this ideology? Well, again, they follow Muhammad, who is their ideal person. What was his views to martyrdom, dying in the cause of Allah while killing many unbelievers? And that's pretty plain in Sahih, so it's trusted, most reliable. Sahih al-Bukhari 52:54. The words of Muhammad: I would love to be martyred in Allah's cause and then be restored and get martyred and then get martyred and then get restored again and then get martyred and then get restored again and get martyred. This is why modern day jihadists often say they love to die. And their ideal man worshipped the concept of martyrdom, worshipped the idea of dying in the cause of Allah. Now, why? Why would anyone want to do that? Sahih al-Bukhari again gives us the answer. We have 52:46. Allah guarantees that he will admit the martyr in his cause into paradise if he is killed. Otherwise, he will return him to his home safe with the rewards and war booty. This obviously was talking about war. This obviously was talking about pillaging, because, I mean, how else do you get war booty? So that is from Sahih al-Bukhari 52:46. So let's check on what's going on. We still have a bit of time. So one of the common objections that you'll hear, definitely whenever a Christian talks about how violent the Quran is, you hear the objection, well, the Bible, you see, the Bible is more violent than the Quran. 100%. It's more violent than the Quran. So you shouldn't talk about the Quran's violence because your Bible is so much more violent. And you know what? If you're looking at number of deaths, yeah. If you're looking at number of violent acts in the historical section of the Bible, yes. Good and bad, and it puts both of those in the history. So, but the Bible stretches over a period of 3,000 years. The Quran is 60 years. We have another response to a common objection that's given. What about the Crusades? In fact, that was some of the objections as all of this was going on. In the aftermath, that was brought up because it's because of the Crusades that the Muslims are still ticked off. It has been a freaking long time since the Crusades, one deal. Two, the Crusades were in defense of Christendom, which was the European. A lot of people don't focus on this part, but Muslims were doing jihad a long time before Crusades were even a thing. They had taken over the Holy Land. They've taken over that entire section. Before Islam, before Muhammad, That section was all Christian. That was all Christians. Well, Christians and Jews broke up between the two, but majority Christians. Then the Muslims came in, following verses such as 9:29, and said either you convert or we kill you. The European Christians were like, we don't want that here. So the Byzantines, for a long time now, the Byzantines, again, were part of the Roman Empire. They were the Eastern Roman Empire that changed their name into the Byzantine Empire. So they held off and held on to Christian values and held off the Muslim invasion for a long period, at least as far as it went through Turkey. You had Muslim jihads. There were over 100 jihads. There were 5 or 6 crusades. We had the Iberian Peninsula. So Spain, the entire section was almost completely taken over by Islam. We had parts of Italy that were taken over by Islam and occupied. They were invading up through Africa into Europe, and that's when the Pope said, no, we aren't going to stand for this. We need to defend ourselves. We need to unite against this, because the concept of holy war was originally, I guess, as far as it's between Christians and Muslims, was coined by the Muslims. They started the holy concept of holy war in a united front under a caliph. And the Christians did not respond until long after. Now, there are a lot of screw-ups with the Crusades as well, like invading the Byzantine Empire and saying, oh, we're done, leaving, freaking morons. But there's also the Reconquista of Spain that pushed the Moors out of Spain. So we have a lot of that going on, where there is a good chance that they could have very easily went the wrong way, or the kind of which side you are, the Muslim way. Could have very easily have led to the destruction of Christendom. So as we continue with this timeline, we're now at 9:24. So let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into the collapses. I'm going to finish up. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and finish up and wrap this up, because I've had requests of keeping my live streams shorter because it makes it easier to watch. So I want to go ahead and try to wrap this up pretty soon. But the concept of why invading Iraq, why taking it to them didn't work, was because we attacked them, like I said before, attacked an ideology like you would attack a nation. You can't do that. The way to attack Islam is through apologetics, through words and discussion. I'm not voting for violence. No, not at all. What I'm saying is discussion. Bring their concepts into the light and don't let them lie about them. I don't know how long afterwards it was like, oh, but we're all peaceful. We're all peaceful. We're all peaceful. It's not all Muslims that are like this. It's not all Muslims. Yeah, but do you condemn it? Well, no, we don't. There's no Muslim that condemns the acts of these terrorists, because they know it's within the character of Muhammad. As we read in Sahih al-Bukhari, as we saw there, yeah, Muhammad would love to have died and become a martyr and got reincarnated and come back, or revived and come back and become a martyr again, and repeat the process, repeat the process, repeat the process, repeat the process. So the way to battle this, that caused this entire thing. And I'm going to go ahead and flip over one video here. This is during the fall of the second tower. This is, give the credits due, Eyewitness News, ABC 7, New York. Put this video out. So give the credit where the credit is due. This is from their video, and we're just reviewing it under fair use. So this is during the first tower's fall. It didn't chronologically happen for a while, but we are going to go ahead and wrap up. They are running, they're hiding, they're trying to figure out what is going on. Again, the people on the ground were not believing that this was a terrorist attack. Yeah, Washington Post is not reliable. Again, the whole concept, and I listen to even like Ben Shapiro, and the one thing I hate listening to Ben Shapiro is on Islam, because he just doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. People running in shelter. This is as the building is collapsing. You just see the amount of dust. So, yeah, they got, radical Islamists. No. These are true Muslims. They're the ones following the teachings as it was dictated by Muhammad. There's nothing radical about them. The only radical Muslims are the ones that teach peace. There are ones out there. There are ones out there that don't know what their own sources say. And that's what apologists like me, like David Wood, like Gen Z, we all pull that out and say, hey, guys, this is what it actually says. This is the truth of the matter. This is what causes this to happen. This is what causes this pain and suffering to occur. Is these teachings, this concept that the rest of humanity is the worst of creatures and the best of creatures are the Muslims. You want to say race superiority? Right there. For some reason, the left has just embraced this ideology, this cancerous thing. I have one more video for you as we close out this time together. We hit 9:30 and I hit an hour with this live stream. So this is the next one from Nacho's Daddy 77. Don't look at me. I'm just reporting what they have, okay? And again, I've only seen these. So this is CNN 9/11 North Tower collapse. So this is North Tower collapse. It does happen later, but we're going to go ahead and watch it now. When you witness to Muslims, they think that jihad wars ought to be only in self-defense. And there you go. Collapse of the tower. Over 1,000 people just died in that. So it says that in self-defense, according to their scriptures. I doubt if they were well read. No. In fact, at this point, I've read more of the Quran than some people actually do and understood it. Which is a key. So they'll read it in a language that they just don't know. They'll recite it in a language that they just don't know. But to read it and be like, no, Muhammad attacked people. Muhammad destroyed people. Muhammad went to kill people. and to ruin lives. And if he did not hear the prayer call in the morning, he would rush in and just slaughter the people. Mercy was not within his character. So we will go ahead and close with this one here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't have my outro ready, so I'll just have to do my intro again and say adieu for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and let's go ahead and close with our intro, outro thingy.